Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Japan. Round 5 of the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series, hosted here on Gran Turismo Sport. It's the third annual season for this series, and we are live here for Suzuka circuit action in Japan. And as you can see, 15 drivers lined up for the start of this one, and they're all going to be led by the Argentinian driver of Nikito, who is on the pole for this race. There you see the defending GT Cup champ, Even Steven, right behind him in second, and Ned, the Canadian driver, who won the Rolex 8 race for this division, qualifies in third. Bo Tedesco fourth, Footman in fifth, Scorpion out of France in sixth, Beam, his good friend out of France, right behind him in seventh, and we are underway. GR3 cars, GT3 style racing. Here you will see everything from Audi R8s, Dodge Vipers, Mazda Atenzas, Chevy Corvettes, Ford Mustangs, you name it, Nissan GTRs. And right now they're all chasing Nikito in the McLaren, and Even Steven in the Audi R8 running in second, and it's Ned in the Dodge Viper running in third. Clean start for the top five. They all kind of gap the rest of the field just a little bit, and it's Beam SKP, the driver out of France, running in sixth, and seventh now belongs to Juicy J. So on the first lap, Scorpion losing a couple of positions here, and he's back into the 8th place position with Timac right behind him, and Jesse Carlson in the 48 Chevy Corvette right there in 10th behind him. Pedro Swenson from Brazil and Shark Ghost from Brazil running in 11th and 12th. Problems for Gil out of Argentina. He's parked over against the wall, and I couldn't quite tell what corner that was. 14 cars still rolling on the racetrack. Change for the lead. Even Steven takes it away from Nikito. Nikito settles in line behind him in the McLaren. Ned holding up a couple of cars just behind him. One of them's his teammate, Footman. 2 Dodge Vipers for the Twisted Tea team. They work their way around Bo Tedesco, and Bo's driving the Mazda Atenza. And there you can see Gil, the Argentinian driver, no power there, and he's just parked off the track, but kind of at a dangerous place. He's at the very end of a long straightaway, one of the high-speed parts and high braking areas for these cars. Round 5 of the season. Round 1 for this series this year was the Rolex 8. 2 different classes entered one race. You could enter the GT Cup class in the GR3 cars and contribute points for yourself towards the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series, or you could enter the Super GT class, drive a GR1 car, and contribute points for yourself towards the Super GT Series. Ned elected to team up with Footman. They won for the GT Cup class in the Rolex 8. Ned has participated in every race since then, and he's still currently your points leader coming into this race, round 5 of the season. Even Steven, the 2-time NOSSCAR GT Cup Series champion and 2-time world champion, trying his very best to hold off the Argentinian driver Nikito. Nikito looking to become the very first driver out of Argentina to win an NOSSCAR GT Cup Series race, and he's right there knocking on the door. It's Audi R8 versus McLaren here. With the Dodge Viper and Ned closing in third. He's gotten away from a couple of cars that were right behind him, and when you're not being hounded and having to drive a little harder into the corners to defend from somebody getting alongside you, your lap times usually look a little better, and now some breathing room for Ned might be all he needs to run down the top 2. Beam SKP, firm lock on the 6th place position. Scorpion is going to go off course there and give up the 7th place position to Timac. Jesse Carlson in the 48 Chevy Corvette looking to try the same move here. And Scorpion is driving the Toyota. Shark Ghost out of Brazil has worked his way up inside the top 10. ECJ USA driver driving the Nissan GTR finds himself 11th. And as you work through the rest of the running order here, 15 drivers started this race. There are 14 left on the racetrack, but one of them has been stationary for quite some time, so we're going to call it 13 still actively racing in this one. And Suzuka's circuit, and a lead change. Nikito has taken the lead back, started on pole, and he's now going to take the lead back from Even Steven and lead laps here, it looks like. He's coming around through the last couple of sections of this circuit. Even Steven still 2 car lengths behind him. There you can see the gap back to the drivers running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There's Beam. Leaderboard on your left, folks. We'll keep track of the action as we go. 60-minute endurance race. These drivers working lap 3 right now here at Suzuka Circuit. GR3 cars. No custom tuning to these cars is allowed, and the balance of performance setting that Gran Turismo Sport offers has been turned on. So the horsepower and the weight of all of these cars has been slightly altered to make sure that they're even closer to evenly matched, and it comes down to driver versus driver in these ones. And 60 minutes. It's a long time, folks. It opens the door for strategies on pit road. Some drivers try to push their fuel to make it a one-stop strategy. Some drivers pit at the 20 and 40-minute mark and make it a 2-stop strategy. Been all Nikito pretty much here since the green lights turned on. Even Steven led a couple of laps, but since then Nikito's found him and has been able to drive away and looking to make history here, folks. He would become the very first driver from Argentina to win a NOSSCAR GT Cup Series race on Gran Turismo Sport. And you can see the line difference between Nikito and Even Steven. You can see that Even Steven is driving and using every inch of this racetrack, folks. He's going all the way to the end of those rumble strips to the point where he's nearly getting his tires off into the grass a little bit, whereas Nikito is driving a lot more relaxed, not necessarily trying to push it and use every inch of the racetrack, and still somehow managing to drive away. And a change for third, folks, and Footman has taken over the P3 spot. He's been able to work his way around not only Ned, his teammate, but he was able to pass Bo Tedesco as well. We're hearing that Bo has had some sort of problem, and now Beam out of France has worked his way inside the top 5 as a result, and Timac is now up to P6. Jesse Carlson has only been within a second or two of Timac pretty much all race long, and now he finds himself in 7th. And some of these drivers that were outside the top 10 are starting to now rebound. Shark Ghost out of Brazil was in the top 10. Now since then has pulled off the racetrack and is done for the day. 11 cars left actively racing on the race surface here in Japan. 15 started the race, and some drivers have had problems deeper in the field within the first 9-8 minutes of this event, and since then some of them have elected to simply pull off the racetrack and call it a day. Nikito's lead is getting a little bit bigger and bigger by the lap. Even Steven, the 2-time NOSSCAR GT Cup Series champion, looking for an answer here, and it might lie within some pit strategy. We are working the 14-minute mark of this one, and he's going to have to think about what he wants to do here. He might elect a short pit to try to get some track position on Nikito. Never mind, folks. Nikito makes the call first, and he's been to pit road. now leaving his pit stall, 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel, comes out of the pits in 5th place. Jesse Carlson also on pit road in the 48 Chevy Corvette, surrendering 7th. Well, this changes everything. We're at the 14-minute mark, so Nikito electing to maybe do a 3-stop strategy, and that might be his downfall. We'll have to see what even Steven does. Now we see Nikito pulling right up on the back bumper of Footman, who's not been to pit road yet. And Nikito putting those 4 tires to good use. He's going to have to, if 3 stops is his strategy, he is going to need to put these 4 tires to good use each and every time he's down and away and back on the racetrack with those 4 fresh tires, or else it might not be worth it for him. When he catches a car, he needs to hope that he can just quickly find a way to make the pass and keep on flying with those tires. He can't afford to let anybody hold him up for too long if this 3-stop strategy is going to pay off for him. Even Steven still on the racetrack. Decision time coming for him. He is coming up towards the pit road entrance, and if he is trying to make this a 2-stop strategy, he's going to need to wait another, I'd say another 2 laps, because by then you are looking at about the 19.5 to 20-minute mark of this race. And he's on the racetrack still. This could be the winning call for even Steven. Ned running in 2nd, Beam for France running in 3rd. 4 countries represented in the top 4 right now. The Argentinian driver with the 4 fresh tires closing in on both of these drivers. 2 Dodge Vipers distracted, battling amongst themselves, and here comes Nikito. Ned's actually going to go to pit road and get scheduled service here. Now, Ned's a little bit closer to that 20-minute mark. Same with Footman. They both might be able to still make this a 2-stop call. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for them on the fuel, and their tires are going to be in worse shape at the end of their 2nd stint as well. This is assuming if they go with the 2-stop strategy. Very hard to figure out what's going to happen here in these GT Cup races. There's always 3 or 4 different strategies. It's pretty much a high-speed chess match on Gran Turismo. 3rd annual season for the GT Cup Series. Audi R8s, Dodge Vipers, Chevy Corvettes, Nissan GTRs, Ford Mustangs, you name it, they're here. And there was some sort of an issue there for Footman. He's now currently scored in the 8th place position. Remember, he was on the winning team for this class at the Rolex 8 and was up there in the 5th place position before the cycle of pit stops began, and now he finds himself in the 8th place position. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but we'll see if we can get an update for you as the race rolls forward. Nikito has worked his way through the traffic and now finds himself in 2nd place, and he's trying to run down even Steven, but the problem is even Steven is long gone. Steven's yet to come to pit road. That's the one thing going for Nikito. He knows he's got fresher tires right now. He knows the gap, the interval between he and the leader is rapidly shrinking. He just needs to close it as much as he can every single stint that he goes for this 3-stop strategy, and hope that it pays off for him. Hope the track position works out in the end, where Nikito is still in front of even Steven, despite Steven hitting 1 less time. It's going to be a tall order, folks. There he is, the race leader. Team USA captain for the World Championship every year. 2-time GT Cup champ, 2-time world champ, all of which were here on Gran Turismo Sport. He really knows what he's doing. Races in sport mode almost daily. Has really cemented a name for himself here in NOSSCAR when it comes to his road course racing abilities on Gran Turismo Sport, and since then he's transferred his skills over onto the NASCAR Heat Games a little bit. Finished 2nd in the final standings for the 2021 NOSSCAR Legend Series with a win. Ran part-time in the Trucks and Motormaster Series. Found top 5 finishes on road courses. And how about Beam, running third in the Dodge Viper? 2 wins for him this season in the 2021 NOSSCAR Tailgate Truck Series, posted on NASCAR Heat 5. And now he's going to come to pit road, as is Even Steven. And there you see the number 15 Audi R8. Fill in the fuel tank, 4 fresh super soft tires, and Timac was on pit road as well. Timac won the Rolex 8 this year in the Super GT class, driving the 2011 Audi R18. And this gives the race lead back to Nikito, with Even Steven, I would say, about 7 seconds, or 7 to 9 seconds behind Nikito at this time. Now Nikito needs to just drive as quick as he can, because now it's kind of turned the other way. The tables have turned. Even Steven now has the 4 fresher tires, and it's another 9 minutes until Nikito needs to make his pit stop. And we're going to keep our camera on Nikito, the driver out of Argentina. He's looking to make history here today, become the first Argentinian driver to win a GT Cup Series race here in NOSSCAR. And we're getting a report there might be some sort of problem for him. And yeah, there you see, there he goes. And there's some sort of connection problem with Nikito, and he is off the racetrack and done for the day. And that is an absolute heartbreaker for the driver out of Argentina, who had led the most laps in this race, had the fastest race lap thus far, and qualified on the pole. That is really a shame, and he is done for the day, and he's officially going to finish in the 11th place position. And after what was a strong looking debut for him, and we hope to see him again. So that gives the race lead back to Even Steven, and the wild strategy between these two is completely over now. Jesse Carlson running in second, Ned running in third, Beam has the 4th place position, Scorpion, I don't believe has made a pit stop yet, runs in 5th, Footman running in 6th, Timac in 7th, Juicy J running in 8th, and they are still all within striking distance to go up there and win this race, but it might be easier said than done. Even Steven does have quite the gap, quite the lead over Jesse Carlson. It is about 13 seconds. Jesse still looking for that very first NOSSCAR win on Gran Turismo. He's come so close so many different times, and one of these days it's going to be his day. And right now scored in second in the lows, number 48 Chevy Corvette. Ned, the Canadian, in the Dodge Viper, not too far behind him, running in third. Here comes Beam, driver out of France. Dodge Viper as well, scored in the 4th place position. Footman right behind him in 5th. Timac and the Nissan GTR giving these Vipers a good run for their money today. He's right now scored in 6th. It's been a very much a Dodge Viper type of day. There's a few other cars up in the mix, but consistently as a manufacturer, the Viper team seems to really have things figured out. They're all chasing the Audi R8 of Even Steven, though, at Suzuka circuit. 23 minutes into this one. And past the halfway mark now, 3 different countries represented on the podium right now, and that would be quite the story here from Suzuka's circuit. Beam SKP looking to make it happen. It's happened already once, but it was in the World Championship. Very well might happen here in the GT Cup Series. Even Steven out of USA, Ned out of Canada, Beam out of France. Ned now surrenders the P2 spot to bring it to pit road. We'll have to see if Beam is close enough to capitalize and take that position. I believe that he is. And he's going to do just that. But it's also going to put Timac into third, so that there really still is 3 different countries represented inside the top 3. They're still all chasing Even Steven, but nobody within striking distance at this time. Even Steven pit at the 16-minute mark of this race, so we do expect him on pit road relatively soon, but he doesn't want to pit too soon and not be able to stretch it and make it all the way to the end on the fuel. Once that window opens, you might see everybody just start driving down pit road. How about Jesse Carlson, qualified deep in the field, back in, I believe, the 10th place position, has worked his way all the way up into 4th, and that number 48 Chevy Corvette was up into 2nd at one point in this race. And now the pit strategies have somewhat cycled through and have normalized a little bit here. He finds himself in 4th, Ned right behind him in 5th, but it's been a great run for the young Jesse Carlson, still looking for that first ever NOSSCAR GT Cup Series win. Had high hopes for it to be today, but right now, I don't think anybody's going to take it away from Even Steven. So if Carlson can get up there and challenge Beam or Timac for a podium spot, then that might be considered a win here for all of these drivers. And Beam brings his car to pit road for service here at Suzuka Circuit, and it is close enough. I do believe that this will be his last pit stop of the race, unless he suffers damage out on the racetrack from some sort of on-track incident. I believe this is the last time you'll see Beam on pit road here today. 2 wins this season for him in the 2021 Truck Series on Heat 5. Footman running in 5th. His teammate Ned running in 4th, and I do know that a lot of these drivers still need to come to pit road. That includes your race leader, Even Steven. That includes Timac, Jesse Carlson. They all need to come to pit road one more time before the end of this race. We have under 20 minutes remaining, so really I believe that the window is open. You can make it from here, and as soon as Even Steven heard that, he came to pit road. Ivor, you can see the lap times on the right-hand side of your screen. It's faster than anybody else that's still remaining active in this race and on track. 15 drivers started this race, and it's now all Even Steven's race. It's Even Steven's race to lose at this point. 2-time GT Cup Series champion. Dominated both seasons of this series. Timac was not close enough to capitalize on Even Steven being on pit road, so he's not going to lead a lap, and I do think that Timac still needs to come to pit road before the end of this one, so that just goes to show what the gap is going to be like once he does that. Jesse Carlson works his way into 3rd. Beam was also on pit road, so there's a lot of strategies unfolding here still, but there are still scheduled pit stops coming, and here is Timac This year's Rolex 8 winner for the Super GT Series comes to a stop in the number 32 Molson Canadian Nissan GTR, and it's getting service. And he'll pop out in the 4th place position. And again, folks, Beam has already made his pit stop, so the fact that he's in front of him, it's going to help him. He's got the fresher tires and the track position. So Timac looking good for a top 4 or better here in today's race. Ned in the Dodge Viper runs in 3rd. I believe he still needs to come to pit road, as does Jesse Carlson in the number 48 Chevy Corvette. It's a battle actually between those two, and now Ned is actually going to take that 2nd place position away. And as you could see there just a moment ago, what changed the spot for those two drivers? Jesse Carlson ran the track wide, got off and into the grass, but lost complete traction, and Ned was able to capitalize. He was close enough and got his car to the inside of him and took away that 2nd place position. Under 15 minutes remaining in this race, Jesse Carlson has brought his car to pit road. There you see him getting scheduled service. It will be his final pit stop of the race unless he somehow gets damage out on the racetrack before the end of this one. Even Steven has a pretty significant penalty actually on the racetrack. The game gives these if you cut the corners or if you run a corner on the exit too wide and get your tires rather in that green rumble strip that's just out past the red and white rumble strips. So I don't know, even Steven might be getting some sort of penalty here for excessive corner cutting and excessive use of the racetrack. Exceeding the track limits is really the words I was looking for. And there's no signs of him trying to kill it at this point. You can kill these penalties by lifting a lot going into the turns, and that 2.5 second margin there in the red bar there will diminish if you slow down a little earlier for each turn. Ned scored in 2nd in the Dodge Viper. Running in 3rd is Timac in the Nissan GTR. Beam SKP, the driver out of France, runs in 4th in the Dodge Viper. Jesse Carlson in the 48 Chevy Corvette running in 5th. Scorpion out of France in the Toyota running in 6th. Footman runs in 7th in the Dodge Viper. Juicy J runs in 8th in the number 18 Nissan GTR. And in the Ferrari, and off course goes Twitch in the number 66. Crazy Legs and the Chevy Corvette number 42 rounds out the top 10. 15 drivers started this race. We still have 10 of them on the racetrack and logging laps. Ned's pit crew jumps over the wall, and tires in hand, air guns in hand, and they're going to take on scheduled service here for the final time in this race, and that's going to surrender 2nd place to Timac, and we'll see how quickly he can get back onto the racetrack. It was a really quick, really short pit stop. He did not take much fuel while on pit road. Number 24 Dodge Viper down and away, and he only loses 1 spot. He comes back out in 3rd, and if he's got the fuel to the end, he's got a safe gap over Beam in the 4th position. He should be able to hang on to a podium spot. Even Steven is long gone, and the closest competitor to Even Steven is about half the track behind him at this point. And that is this year's Rolex 8 winner for the Super GT Series class, Timac 11 in the 32 Nissan GTR. So it's safe to say that the 2-time world champ, Even Steven, very much has this locked down and in the bag, especially being only under 10 minutes remaining in this race and no challengers anywhere behind him. Juicy J comes to pit road. He was just behind your race leader there. There are 7 cars left on the lead lap. Footman, the next car to go, 1 lap down, scored in the 7th place position, and really not that far in front of your race leader, even Steven. You can see him every now and then. There he is, actually, that purple and orange Dodge Viper. Footman scored in 7th, just in front of your race leader. Even Steven might even be able to get a little bit of that draft on these. There's a couple of long stretches here at Suzuka circuit where you really can get a draft from the car in front of you. Makes a big difference too. Gain about a second to 2.5 seconds of time on those long straightaways. Pulling up right behind him now. And why not have some fun, I guess, with a car that's trying to stay on the lead lap. No immediate challenge for the win here from Timac. He is in second. Ned is actually closing in on Timac just a little bit here. Beam and the Dodge Viper. No immediate challenge from anyone behind him as well. And Jesse Carlson right there in 5th. It's been a wild race. If we can recap things just a little bit here. It's safe to say that Nikito out of Argentina, I don't know, it was going to come down to him and even Steven. Nikito was going for a 3-stop strategy, whereas even Steven has done a 2-stop strategy, and he short pit for that first set of tires so he could get maximum amount of track time throughout this 2-stop strategy. And it was really going to come down to those two. It's going to come down to the raw speed between the two and see who had the better car and who had the better lap times. Because 1 extra pit stop is hard to overcome, but if Nikito could be that much quicker on the 4 fresh tires, 1 extra time, then maybe he could do it. But we'll never know. Nikito off the racetrack, done for the day, unofficially finishes in the 11th place position with an engine failure, we call it, here in the world of sim racing, and that left even Steven all alone with the win all but locked up and in hand here at Suzuka Circuit, round 5 of the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series. And that's why even Steven is the master. 2 championships in this series, 2 championships in the NOSSCAR World Championship, driving the Super Formula cars. Even Steven was one of those drivers that decided to enter the Super GT class for the Rolex 8, and he did not score points for round 1 for the GT Cup Series as a result. So he's really one of those drivers that's trying to climb out of a hole when it comes to the point standings in the GT Cup Series, and he's doing a great job. He won last week at Spa de Francorchamps in Belgium, and now here today looking to get a 2nd win in a row here in 2021 and win round 5 of the season here at Suzuka Circuit in Japan. When he gets to the line this time by, he'll see the white flag, 59-minute mark, 59-minute and 12-second mark to be exact, and so the next time by he'll see the checkered flag because the time will have long expired by then. These drivers logging anywhere from 156 to 203 lap times depending on their fuel load and how fresh their tires are. What a race it's been for Timac, the Canadian, running in 2nd and really was not a threat too much in this race. Rode around mostly anywhere from 4th to 7th, qualified 9th, so it really was not a race that he was having high hopes for, but after a solid race, being clean and consistent all race long, not a mark on that Nissan GTR, he's going to claim a podium here in Japan. Ned was gaining on Ty for a little bit, but he's since then fallen off a little bit, and he's not going to catch him in time. And so Ned is going to have to settle for third. Timac crosses the start-finish line to finish in second. Ned is going to finish third. And Beam might be short on fuel or something. He just lost the 4th place position to Jesse Carlson, and that's over in the final couple of turns, and he was short on fuel. Jesse Carlson in the number 48 Chevy Corvette is going to come around to take home 4th here at Suzuka Circuit. Beam right there crosses the line to finish in 5th. Well, we'll never know how it would have finished and unfolded with Nikito from Argentina. History was nearly made for the Argentinian fan base. Almost their first win in GT Cup Series history, but another one is coming here for the legendary Even Steven, folks. The 2-time champion does it again, killing his penalty at the start-finish line. He wins round 5 here at Suzuka Circuit. And we'd like to thank all the fans, all the viewers who follow us on YouTube and social media, who tune in and follow their favorite drivers each and every week. More action coming your way. Like and subscribe button, and you won't miss a thing, folks. Good night, everybody, and stay fast.